All right, guys, I want to go over this types of conflict assignment with you. Here's what you're going to do. You need scissors, glue, and this sheet of paper in your journal, okay? You're going to cut this out into a big block and this out into a big block. So it should look like this strip right here, and then you having cut around the perimeter of this page right here. You're going to want to keep all of these attached together because you only need to cut off a few at a time. Maybe you decide to do a column. Maybe you decide to do a row. Whichever you do, that's fine. Just if you cut them all out at one time, you're going to have a really hard time keeping track of all the little bitty pieces. So my suggestion to you, cut off snips of the block as you go. So you will take this piece right here and you are going to glue it to the top of the page. So you're going to label it types of conflict: man versus self, man versus society, man versus nature, and man versus man. Now, if you're not remembering exactly what types of conflicts these are and what all that entails, you can certainly flip back through your journal. And here you've got some notes about that with breadwinner. This is another example you might have in your journal as well. So lots of ways and opportunities that you could have conflict journaled about in your journal right here. So back to this. So man versus self, we talked about this being an internal struggle. This is an internal struggle. So I cut off a section of the scenarios from this piece right here. Okay, cut off a section of that, and I started to work with them. So here are the examples I chose of each one and then why I chose it. So if you look at this first one, it's talking about man versus self. Well, when you've got man versus self, this is going to be an internal struggle, and that typically has to do with emotions. And it said a woman is tempted, right here, tempted, to steal money from her employer to feed her hungry children. That word tempted is what lets you know this is an internal struggle. That's a feelings right there, heart. So man versus self, tempted. My next example is man versus society. So society can be rules or procedures that are put in place by law or by your culture. So this one, a teenager breaks the curfew set by his parents so he can go to the movies. So a curfew set by his parents. His parents have a curfew that are set by them, and he is choosing to go against that. So he is going against rules and regulations. Man versus nature conflict. This one is really hard for most kids, so I chose this one to be my example. A woman is unable to function because of an illness. You know this is a nature situation because this person naturally got sick. They didn't go and try to get sick. This woman just became ill. So an illness or anything to do with weather or animals, any kind of natural element is going to be man versus nature. The next one, man versus man. Two boys get into a fist fight because they disagree over which book is best. So they are having a disagreement and a fist fight. So right there, that is a man versus man conflict. Now what you need to do is go through the rest of the scenarios and put them where they belong within this chart. These are the pieces I have left over after doing my example for you. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to cut, again, individual sections and glue them down into my journal so that I can then use this piece of paper to complete a quiz on Google Classroom. So good luck, kids. Talk to you later. Bye.